Acting Transport Minister Jeffrey Siow's comments on the allocation of certificates of entitlement have sparked a renewed wave of public scrutiny. In an 11th June interview, Siow defended allocating COEs to private hire vehicles, arguing that doing so benefits a wider pool of Singaporeans compared to private car ownership. Siow refuted suggestions that PHV operators inflate COE prices and hurt the car ownership aspirations of individuals. He maintained that shared transport models ease congestion and reduce bidding pressure. If you have one COE left to allocate, is it better to give it to a private car owner who then drives maybe 2 trips a day and leaves the car in the garage? Or is it better to share the car among a much larger group of Singaporeans who can have access to the use of a car when they need it? Surely it must be the latter, right? Siow asked. He underscored that Singapore's limited land area prevents widespread private car ownership. Thus, the COE system remains the government's main tool to distribute limited road space equitably. While no significant COE reforms are planned, Siow mentioned that current efforts focus on the implementation of ERP 2.0 and installation of onboard units across all vehicles. The policy defense quickly drew a satirical response from blogger Lee Kin Mun, known as Mr. Brown, who released a TikTok video on Sventin Jibi's comedic alter ego Kim Watt. Kim Watt proposed ministers relinquish their government-issued cars, renamed political holder vehicles, and suggested they book PHVs for official duties using a ministerial app. Better yet, all ministers should give up their private cars, not efficient ma, he quipped, mockingly echoing Siow's reasoning.
Today I read about this COE thing. Someone asked the acting Minister of Transport, Mr. Jeffrey Siow, about the COE price, why so high, and is it affected by the private hire vehicles, those companies, PHV companies, bidding for it. He said, the economics of private hire car are much more efficient. That's what he said. He said, quote, if you had one COE left to allocate, is it better to allocate to the private car owner who then drives maybe 2 trips a day and then leaves the car in the garage? Or is it better to share the car among a much larger group of Singaporeans who can have access to the car when they need it? Surely it must be the latter, right? He said, unquote. So it's more efficient, you are saying, give to the PHV side, the COE. If it's so efficient, then maybe all the COE should be used for PHV like that. Convert all for PHV use, more efficient Or maybe the good minister can give up his car or cars, and contribute these car COE to the pool for the rest of us Singaporeans to enjoy the efficient use of private hire vehicles. How about that? Better yet, all ministers should give up their private cars. Not efficient, You drive to Parliament, drive to your ministry, park there all day, then drive home. Park in your garage, real garage, not like our normal car park outside. Give up your cars. All the ministers use a pool of shared cars. How about that? We call it PHV also, political holder vehicles.
The satire gained traction, with netizens amplifying the critique and questioning whether government leaders were prepared to embody the same shared use values they promote. Online platforms including Facebook page of the Straits Times and the Business Times were soon populated with comments critical of Siow's argument. One user proposed that if PHVs are truly more efficient, ministers and their families should lead by example and give up private vehicles. Another argued that the COE system now favors wealthy rental firms able to outbid individuals, undermining fairness and public trust. Several comments also pushed for reform such as capping COEs per household, separating business and private quotas, and re-evaluating vehicle lifespan policies to improve equity and sustainability. Debate intensified over the core objectives of the COE system. While it was originally introduced to manage congestion, some netizens suggested the policy has evolved into a tool for revenue generation. One comment wrote, "The only reason to allow the system to remain unchanged is 70% of what we spend on vehicle ownership goes to the government." Others asked whether the system should shift from ownership-based quotas to usage-based COEs, which could more accurately target congestion control. They argued that such a move could eliminate price volatility and market distortions associated with arbitrary quota releases. A few netizens expressed concern about unintended consequences of current policies. They warned that if PHVs continue to receive preferential COE access, individuals might register personal cars under PHV companies for private use. This workaround, they said, could eventually favor large PHV operators, fueling further inequality and policy backlash. Critics also challenged the Ministry of Transport's emphasis on technological upgrades like ERP 2.0, questioning whether broader systemic issues were being neglected. Siow also addressed concerns about PHV driver welfare, following the death of 49-year-old ride-hailing driver Gavin Neo, who reportedly worked 15-hour days. He noted that the Land Transport Authority does not currently cap driver hours and that unions have not formally requested such measures. Regulations could be considered if PHV accident rates exceed those of private vehicles, he added, though current data does not suggest such a trend. Unions and the Workplace Safety and Health Council currently recommend limiting shifts to 12 hours. Siow expressed sympathy to Neo's family and noted that both the union and ministry are offering assistance.